Good afternoon, Bob, Trade Genius here. It's the 18th of September, and up until about 11 o'clock my time today, I was going to say it's a same old day, and that just the Ramposaurus and what they call Gap and Camp, and just wait for the Fed meeting. But something happened at 2 o'clock today, and it was interesting because we kind of could see it all day with the at least with the Nasdaq. I've given up trading ES months and months and months ago. It's just until volatility really kicks up, it's just not worth trading. You can't make any real money unless you just put on too much leverage. But I do trade the Nasdaq, and just want to show you the arrows you see here are from my software. And then usually what I start looking to do is I don't sorry about that. I don't normally trade the Nasdaq before the market opens, just so I want more volume in the trade. And so I just normally I look for a sell-off, and it came just before the open, and then it dropped down here, and I didn't take anything yet. I didn't get any kind of sell signal, even though shorting the VWAP is probably okay. I just left it be. And I was looking for, quite frankly, a move down to here, or even down to this low volume area here, and to look for a push up higher. But they immediately, they're like rats in a maze that are getting cheese. People are getting faster and faster and faster about wanting to grab the dip and run it up. And so what I usually then wait for is the first sell signal. But I got a twofer today. One of the things, just a tip and trick that at least works for me, is that I'm looking back 5 days, and my signal is set on a 5-minute time frame, and whenever I get a 5-day high or a 5-day low, I fade it. So by the time this thing hit and I got in, it was already 60.15, and I gave myself just 10 points, so I just don't get chopped up, and then just see where this went. And then the people who are following me that were in the chat room, I just said, hey, if you can grab 10 points on this thing, get down the VWAP, go ahead and take profit. But I like to hold a little bit longer than that sometimes, and I just said I'm staying with the trade, more of a swing, see what happens. And so it hit the VWAP, and we got a buy signal here, and popped it back up again. And as soon as the sell signal happened, there were some folks asking if it was a good time to get back in. I said it was. Give yourself 10 points again. And then it kind of went dark, but then it just started slowly drifting down back to VWAP. And I was watching the FANGs all day. I keep the 5 up. You see me report on them all the time. And they just looked weak today. It looked like the only thing that was holding the market up was you got NVIDIA, and you had Tesla, and I think a little bit on the Netflix side. But I was surprised that Nasdaq was even positive with the big 5 down, and then it was just dancing around here. And then usually around 11 to 11:30, when the market is elevated like this, you get a bit of a sell-off, and lo and behold, this thing just rocked. I wasn't even watching. I was just assuming we'd probably finish flat around VWAP for the day, and then just take a small profit, and this thing just collapsed, and it went all the way down to this low volume area here around 68, and again it popped, and as soon as it reversed candle, like, went ahead and I closed at I got out around 71.75. So I had a nice day. I had 2 contracts on, and it was interesting. I didn't ride it up. I just didn't know if it was going to bear flag and come back down, or if they were going to try to push it up into the end of the day. I made my money for the day. Lesson I always fail to learn is trying to press a bet and end up taking a good day and make it into a bad day. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that this is the day trading money machine signal. Works well. A lot of guys just scalp it, 5-10 points, 5-10 points. It works. Sometimes you get chopped, but overall you make money with this, and it just gives you kind of good roadmap. I like to fade any all-time highs. I like to fade arrows that are at the SD2 or the minus SD2 area are good areas to trade if you get an arrow confirmation. Pivots are an area of interest, and then obviously, you get a reversal candle like that. And this arrow actually hit. It wasn't even a delay. This arrow actually hit when it was around 68, 69. It's just that by the time I can get the trade on, it was already pushing up. I had a limit buy at 66, and it didn't fill it, so I had to go ahead and just hit it at 71 and got out at 71.75, as they said. So interesting. So nice trade for me today. So can't complain. 45, 90 NASDAQ points. Not bad. I'm going to go into the charts here and go with the old capitalization. I'm not going to do too many today. It was just a typical, they're going to jam down gold and silver in the miners and push up, the other commodities. They're trying to paint a picture of we're threading the eye of the needle. No need to have protection with precious metals. The inflation's good inflation, not bad inflation. It's just typical, the manipulation. But I think on Wednesday, the Fed has to crap or get off the pot. So either they're going to start buying down their balance sheet, or they're going to punt. And either we're going to get a big sell-off in high beta, or we're going to get a big buy opportunity in metals and miners. So I'm going to stay with the metals and miners. I think they've been holding up pretty well. The Federal Reserve, they lack guts. There's no way the Federal Reserve is going to take the blame for a crash when it's so obvious what they're doing relates to the market rolling over. They're going to want to position it in such a way where they can blame somebody else. So that's my view. That's how I'm trading it. I added 2 today with IAG, and I got kicked out of AG and went right back in it again. But just look at this, Apple. So interesting with Apple here is that it's below VWAP, and it failed the VWAP here, and it just didn't really come back. I think, $800 billion market cap with a $1,000 product, when the average American family is, making $73,000 a year, and 30% of that goes to the government, another 20% of it goes to rent, another 20% of it goes to food, another 20% of it goes to healthcare. And people are going to drop on a $1,000 phone. I don't think so. So, people tell me I'm crazy, and there's the Appleistas and stuff like that, but I think they're going to disappoint. And so I think the market's telling me that too. Google's interesting. Google and Facebook are advertisers. They're in a pretty box, and everybody loves them, and que sera, sera, kumbaya, but that's all they are. And consumers are getting rocked, and going into Christmas, you get Toys R Us going bankrupt. Think about that. They couldn't even make it to Christmas before they went bankrupt again. And I think that started to weigh on Amazon a little bit today. And plus housing report again was weak. And so these people are just simply lying to you, and they're just trying to paint a picture that in your own life doesn't reflect reality. And I think that's causing a lot of frustration for people. But unfortunately, they're going to hold it, and it's just going to collapse. And then people aren't going to be able to take advantage of it. That's the only sad thing about it. It just won't let the market do its job ever, because they're afraid it ends their way of living. Microsoft, like I said, I think this is the best of the bunch, because I think they're more well-rounded, but they won't survive a big sell-off either. Nothing will, actually. So you got Facebook, like I said, grinding down. Amazon took a big hit. I couldn't believe they got it up to 1,000 again. I just don't know what people are thinking. Their most profitable business is being eroded by Microsoft and Google. The blockchain is going to decentralize cloud computing. It's going to drive profit right out of that business. And then you have Amazon's, retail business, which you know, people are broke, and when healthcare increases come in, they're going to get broker. So I just can't see Amazon even maintaining 900s here soon. But, you know, it's Japanese and the Swiss national banks are just making a mockery of capitalism. The SPY was up today, like I said, just absolutely crazy. Nvidia, you know, this thing's up 2,000% in 6 years. It's up 1,000% in 18 months. So, you know, they claim they're in all the sweet spots, and they probably are. But at some point, all the sweet spots are in consumer branded products, and other than AI, is going to suffer from a recession. So you're buying 1,000% returner into a GDP that's rolling towards zero. And we also got a trend change on it too today. Here's Netflix. Again, a company that makes no money. Tesla, a company that makes no money and no prospects for making money. Q, reality touched a little bit there today. Gold, I think with that change with the Qs, kind of gave gold a little bit of a bid here. You know, I'd love to see it come back and fill the gap and come back to VWAP so it can make it the next move higher. But I think if you're shorting it, I think it's going to be tough unless the news is really bearish from Yellen. IWM, I've been grinding it. It's the banks and biotech that are pushing this thing higher. Here's the banks. It's just amazing because interest rates go up a little bit. The banks are suddenly going to be more profitable. Nobody calculates that more people are going to default on their loans. And then you have, with Irma and with Harvey, you have, I read, $674 billion in mortgages that will have delayed payments in them because people aren't even living in the home. And we don't know how many they're going to be permanent. You know, people don't have flood insurance and they have these mortgages, they're just going to walk away. And so it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens 3-6 months down the line. And now we have another hurricane coming to Puerto Rico. That thing hits Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is ready to file for bankruptcy, where they're simply just not going to pay their bonds. But then who's going to lend them any money to rebuild their state? And you've got to realize too, I'm just talking real politics here, I'm not talking anything in humanity or whatever, is that you have a Republican leading Congress and a Democrat leading state that that will need more money than Harvey and Irma combined. So it's just going to be, another battle. Trump's going to probably use it for leverage to get some other things passed, and he's smart to do so. But how does none of that, if they fund everything, how does that not help us with gold and the miners and stuff like that? And I don't know what they're going to do with these bondholders. They're going to take huge haircuts. And they're just the first. I mean, Illinois is coming, Kentucky's coming, Chicago's coming, New York's coming. I mean, they're all a mess. Like I said, I think we had some bottoms on the miners here. We'll see if there's any carry through tomorrow. Twitter's Twitter. Went back to VWAP. Tech stock pulled back. GG's way undervalued here. It's 6% below its VWAP. Probably an opportunity here. Same with AEM. This is just a reflection on ETF for Amazon. IAU. Okay, we had Wheaton Precious Metal pull down 7% below its VWAP and came back up again. And this is the thing about Wheaton Precious Metals, is it looks at silver and on interest rates, so you can see where interest rates started to turn again. And I think we probably put another bottom in here on Wheaton, this biggest position that I'm trading. And I shouldn't say trading, more holding and trading call options against it. But I'm looking for this to pull right back up to VWAP. I'm pretty much out of all my sold calls. I have some sold puts, and I'm just watching now because I don't want to give away any free options here. Same with GDX. MOS, that was a huge move out of it. I just learned though these big candles tend to be fake outs, so I'm just staying away from it right now. But they all went up. Moss, Pot, I think is it AGU. They all roll today. I think IPI too. Silver looks like Wheaton. Real estate's not doing much. CCJ, it looked like it was going to break out today, but sold all the way down to VWAP. IAG, I bought, and looking for this to get some legs. It's been a really nice chart long term here, and I think it's going to have some high beta. So Southwestern looks interesting. It just keeps banging on that top there, but I'm not sure what oil's going to do. I guess it all depends on Yellen. If oil breaks out, SWN will follow. And also it's natural gas too. Natural gas is breaking out right now. Just the miners here. So as soon as interest rates started to change, looks like people were sliding out of high beta. Nugget is 10% below its VWAP, and so this is a good area to short dust. I'm already short dust for 2 weeks out. I may add, but I'm going to wait till Wednesday because in case I'm really wrong, I don't want to double up ahead of the news. I think I'll double up with the news if it looks like it's going to go my way. So a little bottom on the VXX. I think it's stretched. FAS. I still haven't pulled the trigger on it. I kind of like this curl over here. I'd like to see the trend change. So, AG, I'm in AG, out AG, back in AG. Again, I like the high beta. I think we're close. I just can't see them getting all of a sudden getting a lot of nerve here. And if I'm wrong, I think the market's going to suffer, and I'll just close these positions and work on the short side. Not of miners, but of the market. XIV, just amazing. 5% move. They're just squeezing the VIX down to nothing. You know my view on that. I'm staying away until the good sell-off. Just too much risk there. I'll go back to the dollar here real quick. So back to VWAP. Started to pull back up again, but see if it rolls over. This oil didn't do much today. Okay, there's TNA's getting up there pretty good. DBA, I recommended people buying this if they're already in it. I think this has a dollar move coming in it. XME, I went ahead and recommended a buy at 32.34 as a reflation trade, and so they've been bidding up the other commodities, sands, the precious metals, and so if the dollar rolls over, I think we'll get a good move in copper and the other metals that are associated with this index. UNG had a nice move. It's hit some resistance areas here. Like I said, I still think this will be good to sell calls against, just because of the roll. It works the same way in reverse as XIB does, so it really struggles to move higher. So when you get these big gap ups, you have opportunities to sell calls and cover it as it fades for its next move. There's oil. Like I said, dust is way overbought. This is a good opportunity. You know, I'm looking for it to come at least back down to the VWAP area here, low 21s. So there's probably $1,000 profit in there. See if anything else I want to share. TWM is pretty oversold, but I'm waiting. FXY, it's getting pretty oversold too. Pretty flat. Let's see if there's anything else interesting I want to share with you. Copper sold up pretty hard, pretty flat, but it's oversold too. So coffee's consolidating nicely here. I think it's going to make another move higher, and that'll propel DBA. I think when you see SGG, it did the same thing. gasoline was kind of flattish to down a little bit today. Corn was down 1%. Just stupid reports. Even though you see wheat production is down 15% in the U.S. this year, and corn by the bushel is down 10%. So we're just dealing with a lot of manipulations in the futures market, and worldwide production's down too. We're just working through the stockpiles. Here's lithium. I bought lithium puts, the 38s for October. This move is up 25%. Lithium is not a scarce resource. I think people are front running the ETFs that are going to be coming forward on lithium. That was pretty flat. SLG here, SILJ was looking interesting here. Just a little aftermarket stuff. I like to see it curl back up and then be an opportunity. These are the small cap silver miners. Drip's pretty oversold right now. Like I said, Boyle's getting overbought. Okay, this was a nice bounce off of VWAP for SGG. And sugar and coffee and La Nina all go together. Wheat's holding above VWAP. Soybeans, I was going to buy soybean contract today. Kind of held off. I'm pretty ag heavy, so but soybeans holding up pretty well. Let's see, anything else I want to share with you guys. So this is basically the SSG is what Nvidia turning. It's pretty oversold too. This is pretty overbought, 2.29 on the 10-year. They pushed interest rates too high. They're just going to get massive defaults. And you got to realize they're going to have massive defaults on people who have no collateral. None. You know, the people who have all the assets aren't borrowing money. It's the people who don't have anything that are borrowing to survive. So it's going to get pretty interesting pretty fast. VIX is holding at 10. VVIX got a little bit more exciting today. And that's pretty much it. So kind of my thoughts for today. Tomorrow will probably be a really dull day. Every time I say that, it just becomes a very volatile day. But the meetings start, be some positioning. I suspect it'll be kind of flattish. There'll probably be some futures trades. And then Wednesday afternoon, I truly believe the fireworks will start. And we'll just see how they word it and what direction it takes things, and we'll just trade accordingly. Anyway, Bob from Trade Genius, just want to thank you for listening. You guys have a good one. Catch you later. Bye.